Hey guys, welcome to the pod. Today we're going to talk about the Rookie of the Year race, how that's shaping up, and where Blazers' own rookie guard Scoot Henderson fits into that equation. He's now number 10 on the NBA rookie ladder, according to NBA.com, slowly climbing his way up from a slow start to begin the season. He's up in some of those stats, looking a lot more dangerous the last couple games, even though his shooting continues to be a little bit of an issue. But even when he's not making his shot, getting to the foul line and filling the stat sheets and rebounds and assists. And also curbing his foul trouble a little bit more and his turnover issues. So, all in all, rounding into form. He had 30 a couple games ago, and then he shot real bad in the game after that. But he nearly had a triple double of 14 points, 9 assists, 8 rebounds. Like I said, stuffing the stat sheet. So let's talk a little bit about Scoot for a minute, and then we can move on to the more, the actual favorites in the race. What do you guys, Riley? What do you like that you've seen from Scoot lately?
Well, first of all, I just want to take a second to wish the young man a happy birthday. He just celebrated a birthday on February 3rd, the same day as someone else on this podcast, my brother Kirby. Happy belated birthday to you both. Uh, but yeah, I mean, Scoot is definitely making moves, and he needs to continue working on his consistency. He's so young, it's like these things of he needs to keep working on. In a lot of cases, that's just a matter of experience. It's a matter of reps. We've talked a lot on this podcast about how many minutes he should be playing at this point in his career. And the fact that he's been able to play a little bit more, I think some games I'd still like to see him playing even more, but he is getting more time and he's making the most of it. He is starting to learn. He's starting to see his spots. And just going off of the statistics, he shouldn't be 10th. He should be more like 7th, where he is right now. And I know that there's other factors than just statistics at play here. There is narrative, there is consistency, there is games played. But as we go into the second half of the season, if he can stay healthy and keep playing on the trajectory he has been, even if the consistency issues remain, I think he's going to be able to start outstripping some of these other guys who have maybe played more games in the first half of the season or who have just looked a little bit more consistent. Guys like Keontae George in Utah. I mean, his Scoot statistics kind of put his to shame, and it's just a matter of the narrative and of the consistency. And also, I think Keontae had a really good week this last week, but I do see Scoot moving up. He's probably not going to win it because he's got a big trifecta at the top that he's not going to be able to get through no matter how well he plays the second half of the season. Barring injury problems, but I do see him maybe ending up closer to the top 5, which that'd be a cool place for him to be as a Blazer. I think he'd be the youngest in the top 5 if he was, and it would show a lot of potential for what his next couple years are going to look like.
I think he's the first Blazers rookie to have multiple 30-point games. Is that right? I'm pretty sure I saw that headline, which is exciting.
Yeah. Scoot's been great. And I think this just goes back to what we've been saying with patience. He was 19 years old, right? And you said it. He just had his birthday, but you can tell that his confidence is growing. And while I still get frustrated about his minutes from time to time, he's definitely been playing more minutes lately. Um, I just love what I see on the floor. Last game, his shooting wasn't there, right? But he brought diming, he brought rebounding, he brought what else you can bring when you're not able to score that night.
Still
And
gets to the line and makes his free throws too. That's a very positive sign.
for sure. And the game before that, he scored efficiently. So one game he scored efficiently, and had a great game scoring. And then the next game he couldn't make his shots that he was making the last game, but he did everything else. So uh, it's hard because nobody wants to get that Russell Westbrook comparison, even though he was an MVP. I think that if you could get a guy like Russell Westbrook, give him a better shot selection, and improve his 3-point shooting by 3%, I think that's an amazing player. And I'm not saying Scoot's gonna win MVP and whatnot because he's not as good of an athlete as Westbrook. But I'm saying if you can get a guy that can dime like he can, because he can pass in spots that nobody knows are there. If he can be as an aggressive rebounder as Westbrook was in his prime when he was, skying for rebounds, and then just not be as Westbrookian where he shoots every time down and can't shoot.
Runs all of his superstar teammates out of town.
Yeah, I mean, and look at Westbrook. He's fitting in a lot better than he did the last couple of years trying to figure it out. So
Matured a little bit.
I think that if you give me a slightly better shooting but less athletic Westbrook, you know what, with better shot selection, I take that 100% of the time. So I really like what I've been seeing from Scoot. I think that, sky's the limit. He was drafted high for a reason. We just got to continue to have patience, as hard as that is. Patience is the key, and we will continue to see improvement. 20-year-old rookie, point guard's still the hardest position to play. Love what I'm seeing. But I will say this. My guy, Chauncey.
Your guy,
Yeah,
Chauncey?
he's
My guy,
not,
Chauncey.
No, he's not my guy. That was sarcasm. He has a tough task, though, in integrating all these guards. If Shaden comes back after the trade deadline and if Brogdon's gone, but if all four of them are there, he's got a tough job because what I've seen again is Scoot's spot needs to be like the distributor, the guy with the ball in his hands. Not saying every time down, but when Scoot has to stand in the quarter for 6-minute stretches at a time and touches the ball one time with 5 seconds left on the shot clock, that's when you're seeing these, like, he goes cold and he does this, before the last game. The last game, he was just kind of not able to hit anything. But I don't want to see him standing in the corner because it's everybody else iso ball. That's what I want to see. Just
It's
give him
almost
more
like
opportunities.
the Blazers need to trade one of those guards. Be sure to check out our video about the Blazers trade deadline. But this
Also,
really
I want to mention one more thing.
go for it.
Scoot's chemistry with Ayton seems to be growing.
Does
This podcast has had some talk about Ayton before, but Ayton had a really great game. And a lot of them were dimes from Scoot getting him the ball in spots where he wants the ball. So
they certainly look a lot better with Ayton on the floor. There's no denying that. They're like actually competitive. When he's off the floor, it's a nightmare. Another guy, it seems like Scoot has pretty good chemistry with is Reith, Duop Reith. He's that pick and pop
For
game
sure.
seems to be there as well.
I am curious, Colton. You're the only person on this podcast who's seen him in person, right? Scoot.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just wondering because he looks bigger than his stats do. He looks like he plays pretty big, especially on defense. And I don't know if it's just the athleticism or if it's just his actual bulk or his frame. I'm curious in person, how does he look? Does he look big and
Fast.
super springy and fast? Or,
Quick.
does he look like a little guard?
Quick. He looks quick. And I'm not sitting down at the 100 level courtside. So it's, I sat in the 200 level at the Dame return game.
Blazers,
right?
you need to start giving us press passes so we can get a closer eye on these guys.
We're representing the city of Portland as the media, right? So I think that Scoot in that game, especially in that first half, he was taking it to Damian Lillard. He actually outscored him most of the half, or at the half was even scoring with him. And then again, he sat in the corner a lot of the second half. That was a prime example of what I was talking about. He looks very quick. I think that some of Scoot's struggles finishing at the rim are going to hopefully improve when he works on his left hand in the offseason. That's his main issue with finishing at the rim. He tries to go for these reverse right-handed layups at the time that we are in, but I think that'll improve with time. I think that, his ball handling shows flashes, his passing shows flashes, but he looks jacked. You can tell from way back. You can see it from any picture you see him in. He's like 20 and he's already more sculpted than 99% of the point guards. So I think when he learns to use his body, like body control, and slow down, like if he can take a Euro step and take contact, oh man, that's going to be a go-to move right there.
What I'm waiting for. That's what I want to see. I feel like he has that in him. And that's kind of why I was asking the question. I'm like, is he going to be dominating every guard in the NBA with his frame in the next few years? Because it looks like he could.
As Blazer fans, it's tough to stop talking about Scoot. He's definitely gets our heart rates going, gets us jacked. But We said this was a rookie of the year video, and we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the two guys that are really in the race, Wimby and Chet. Seems like it's pretty much a two-man race between those two. NBA.com actually has Wimby at number one, which I was a little surprised by. I kind of thought Chet had outplayed him through most of the year, but looking at Victor's stats, it's his stats and the media narrative, as Colton likes to bring up, that narrative for those awards definitely means a lot. And also he's just putting up absurd numbers, 3 blocks a game, like almost as many steals, 20 and 10. He's taken quite a few games off. They're being careful with him, which you can't really blame them for. They don't have no shot this year. But I assume they're managing it so that he'll be able to play those 65 games and be eligible for the award. But who do you guys have between Wimby and Chet right now? Who do you think should be in first right now? Who do you think will be in first by the end of the season? Riley?
Yeah, I mean, not just to go with where the odds seem to be right now, but I'm going Wimby and Wimby. I really think he looks very impressive. I do think that they want him to win Rookie of the Year, and when I say they, I mean the Spurs and the league, and those are kind of hard odds to overcome. I think the Spurs are going to do what they need to do to make sure that he can get it. Barring, of course, like if they're concerned about something with his health, but he looks pretty healthy so far. And there's, people out there who have a watch on him potentially being the first NBA player ever for a quintuple double, because he puts up those kinds of numbers sometimes. I mean, he's already this season had games where individually he's been able to put up double-digit stats or very close to it in 5 categories, which is insane as a rookie. And of course, putting that all together into one game, it would be super magical. But, someday it's possible because he has the skill set. And yeah, between narrative and stats, I just don't think you can overcome it. It's going to be Wimby.
He'll never reach the Batum legendary 5x5 game, though. No,
I
he
would,
won't.
yeah, or the Nurkic. I would love. I just like when people go against the media narrative. I would love Chet to win just because kind of he was underlooked going in and he's been nothing but efficient the whole way. But
On a winning
Wemby,
team, too, a team that's actually competitive.
but that also goes against him because he is
Best
playing.
rookie on the best team, as Riley would say.
He's playing with talent. That's the other thing. Wemby's not, and he's
Yeah.
putting up absurd numbers with basically no point guard. So it's gonna go to Wemby, and he had the media behind him the whole way. So there was no doubt in my mind if he stayed healthy the whole season, he was gonna win it. So
The deep state wants Wimby to win Rookie of the
Deep
Year. You heard it
State
here
wants
first.
Wemby. Yeah, 100%.
All right, guys, who do you think is going to be a Rookie of the Year? And where do you think Scoot Henderson will end up in the race? How do you think the rest of his season will look? That's the most important thing. Rookie of the Year is second, as we all know. Thanks, everybody, for watching. See you next time.
Bye.